Did you know that nearly half of dementia cases might actually be preventable? Did you know that exercise can help parts of your brain grow that are responsible for memory? Or that we now have blood tests that can detect Alzheimer's proteins with over 90% accuracy? Welcome to Optimal Aging, the show for fitness, health, and well-being professionals who want to grow their businesses with more people over 50. I'm your host, Jay Croft of PrimeFit Content. I'd like to ask you about some of the advances in early testing and treatment. Your book talks a lot about those, and I think it's really important to reveal to people some of the things that are new just in the last 5 years since the previous edition of the Mayo Clinic's book on this.
Well, there's a couple of important things to realize. One of the reasons we went 20 years between drugs being approved in Alzheimer's disease is it turns out that a clinical diagnosis alone was not that accurate. In fact, in some of the trials in the mid 2000s, about 25 to 30% of people enrolled in an Alzheimer's specific trial didn't have Alzheimer's disease. And so you can imagine how can you end up with a positive trial if you're diluting the effect with all of these people who don't have Alzheimer's disease. So the first thing that came out is the ability to measure the amyloid and tau proteins in the brain that cause Alzheimer's disease during life, not just at autopsy. Alzheimer's disease starts in the brain 20 years before the first symptom happens. So by the time you have that first symptom, you already have quite a bit of amyloid and tau pathology in the brain. And so we need to start moving towards earlier detection and earlier treatment. And there's ongoing studies right now. One is called the AHEAD study, the other is called Trailblazer 3, where they're looking at removing the amyloid protein before any symptoms starts to see if you could prevent or even delay Alzheimer's from happening.
They told us, kids, you have a limited number of brain cells. You were born with them, and once they're gone, you won't get any new ones. Now, maybe that was just what they told us so we wouldn't drink alcohol. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think that's kind of a common thought among people my age that once you lose a brain cell, you're never getting another one.
Well, you're right.
So,
You're absolutely right. That
yeah,
was
so
dogma. That was dogma in our field in the field of neuroscience for many, many decades, was that the amount of neurons are fixed, the amount of brain cells are fixed, and you need to hold on to them because there's nothing you can do to, increase them. But then we developed new methods to be able to measure new brain cells and found that wasn't true, that you could actually have neurogenesis later in life. And so what you were told was the thinking at the time and for sort of thought to be true until, there were new advancements. So you're absolutely right. And I think that is something we should dispel, is that there's no changes in your brain that can happen and you can actually have new brain cells develop. Just this year at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference, they presented a study called the Pointer Study, which was published in JAMA, which is one of our best medical journals. And this was a structured lifestyle intervention study. And so they took two groups of people. One of them, they did a in-person detailed intervention that targeted exercise, vascular risk factors like blood pressure, diabetes. They did brain games with them. They gave them education around healthy behaviors, and there was a socialization aspect as well. And then the other group, they did education and non-structured intervention. And what they found is both groups actually improved cognitively at 2 years, but the group that had that structured intervention that was adherent to their exercise, that got their vascular risk factors under control, had more improvement.
Hey, are you a fitness professional trying to grow your business with people over 50? If you are, then you need to know how to communicate with them, how to market to them, and how to get them to trust you with their fitness, well-being, and money. We're talking about millions of people who are a little older than the typical market that the fitness industry usually pursues. They have more money, more time, and better motivation to make the best long-term fitness consumers you'll find anywhere. If you're not focusing on them, you should be. PrimeFit Content is the only content marketing company designed specifically to help you engage people in this group and to help you distinguish yourself from competitors in your community. It's effective, affordable, and super easy to use. Check it out at primefitcontent.com. That's prime, like prime of your life, fitcontent.com. Back to the show.